Hey y'all. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the last episode of the Blackwell series. I'm excited. If you can't tell, Christmas is next week. And your girl is blessed, okay? Your girl is blessed. We have a good one for you on today. We are going to be talking to my good friend Isabella, who had just joined us, about real estate. I know a lot of y'all have questions in regards to this topic, so I'm excited. I am excited. It's going to be a good one. It is. And there she goes.
Hey God, it's happening.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? So good to see your beautiful face.
Oh, look at you. So festive.
It's Christmas around here, okay?
Is this good?
What's that?
Is this good?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I can see you. Yes, I can hear you well.
Yay! Oh my God. So excited.
I'm so excited to have you. So excited. I just wanted to have you on here first of all because I know you're a wealth of knowledge about this particular topic. And I felt like what better way to wrap up this series than to talk about something that a lot of people have questions about, that a lot of people are in the position now to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people may be afraid now to do, considering the circumstances, but I want you to kind of help them, relieve those fears and learn the things that they need to learn so that they can be prepared for such a big leap. And with that said, I already mentioned it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Hi. Hi. See some people. Hey, sister.
Yes. We are going to be talking. That's my grandma. Hey, grandma. We're going to be talking about real estate. And I'm so excited about this subject. Welcome, everyone. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to get started. But welcome back to Name a Better Duo. I don't know why my phone keep falling. Hold on. Let's get that right. Welcome back to Name a Better Duo. This is the last week of the Blackwell series, and it's been so enlightening. We've had so many different people talking about so many subjects that are really, I believe, going to help us grow and prepare for that next step of generational wealth. I just, especially during the pandemic, have been doing a lot of research on my own and was like, why not share what I've learned and kind of get some people who know more than I do to talk about these subjects that I know we all want to know about and that can actually set up our futures and help us get in a better position, and not just live paycheck to paycheck, not just, just go about life in just a mediocre way. I want us to grow and grab that thing, grab wealth. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you all to my good friend, Isabela De la Cruz, who is going to talk to us about real estate. If you don't mind, introduce yourself, tell us what you do, the area in which you do it, and all that good stuff.
Hey everyone, I'm Isabela De la Cruz, and I am a California licensed real estate agent, and I'm serving all of Los Angeles, all the LA County, and I specialize in helping first-time home buyers and first-time sellers. Pretty much a lot of what I do is really educating and guiding those of you who are ready or getting ready to make this big decision, either buying or selling your home. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'm here.
I love it because, that's such a vulnerable space to be in the first time buying a home. A lot of us are very nervous when we're in that position. So to be able to help people along that journey, I'm sure is very rewarding, especially in a territory like Los Angeles, which can be intimidating. But to have someone to kind of walk you through and hold your hand is so important. So I really feel like, finding a real estate agent that you can trust, like yourself, who is going to actually walk you through the process is so important. But I do have a few questions I want to ask you to get us started. especially right now, a lot of us are thinking about our futures. We
Mhm.
just think we're starting to think outside of the box because we're in this like economic turmoil and there's so much going on, and we just want to be prepared, especially if anything like this were to happen again. We want to know that we've done our due diligence and are prepared.
Mhm.
Right now, we're just dealing with real estate and everything that's going on in the economy. What would you say is the value of owning a home versus renting a home?
So owning a home, I mean, with right now the real estate market has been very hot or busy, as you would say. There's a lot of buyers in the market, but right off the bat, the value of owning a home is having the ability to build equity and generate wealth, generational wealth. So the way you can build equity is through, every monthly payment that you are putting in towards your mortgage helps you build your equity. And one of the driving forces of the economy is, or having wealth is through real estate, through owning real estate. And that's something that you can also pass on generationally through to your children, your grandchildren. Um, and yeah, so and because real estate's one of those things that you can invest in, and in the long term, and most of the time it is going to appreciate and increase its value um, over time. So a lot of, owning right now, I see a lot of buyers. And for those who have parents who have already owned real estate, they're in position to use that equity that they've built over time to help their children put up a down payment, towards a house that their kids can now purchase on their own, or maybe pay college tuition, or using that equity as emergency funds. Um, it's just like any health emergencies or any expenses that you didn't see coming, such as now during the pandemic. So yeah, it kind of gives you a leverage and resource to draw on that equity that you've built over time. So I think it's a great resource that you can have to provide for yourself and your family.
I love that you mentioned that. I love that you mentioned, first off, building equity, and the fact that most homes appreciate over
Mhm.
time. And I think that's one of the few purchases that we can make that actually gains value, So that's why it's such a great investment. That's one reason why. And then a lot of us are thinking about the right now, but we're not thinking about the future. And like you said, the fact that you own it can benefit your children down the line.
Right.
You may be able to help them. I feel like that's one of the things that can sometimes hold people of color back, in that we don't prepare to actually help our children get a step ahead. Like
Right.
those who have generational wealth are giving their kids down payments for home,
Yeah.
for homes. They're paying for their weddings. Like they're doing the things
Exactly.
that, we have to scramble and do. And if we actually prepare, we can actually set up our children's future and make it a lot brighter than ours was, you
Yeah.
know? So I love that. I love that you brought that up. You also mentioned that a lot of people are buying right now. Why do you think
Mhm.
now is a good time to buy?
Because of the interest rates. It's been the lowest we've ever seen historically. Um, for almost 50 years. So since
Wow.
early 1970s, it's been the lowest you've seen. And so a lot of buyers are taking advantage of that. Low interest rates means cheaper loans, and you're paying less over time, less monthly, and you're able to stretch your dollar a little further. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of buyers in the market. However, the problem that we're having is the low inventory. So because there's a lot of buyers and very low supply, there's a lot of bidding war happening right now. And so yeah, just be prepared um, and be patient with the process, and to not lose hope and faith if you're ready.
With that, being said, do you feel like due to a lack of security, less people are selling their homes right now, or is it just the demand is just that much higher, or the buyers are that much more in demand?
Buyers are definitely out there. Selling your property comes with a risk right now too, just because of people coming in due to COVID. So maybe some sellers
Yeah,
um,
leery.
yeah, of
Yeah.
putting their homes in the market, but it's such a great time for sellers right now because you have all this demand and buyers are paying top dollar for their home. So also, if you know someone who sells, now is a good time as well.
Right. Would
Mhm.
you say that with the interest rates being so low, but the prices, the buying price being higher, that it's kind of balancing out in a way in terms of what buyers are paying in the long run and over the term of their loan, or are they still saving money with the lower interest rates?
Yeah, you're having a lower interest rate is a better deal for you.
Okay.
So some people are holding off to purchase and waiting until the market crashes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been an ongoing thing ever since the pandemic. But
Right.
since real estate has been picking up, prices just continue to increase because of the low interest rates. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, you're better off getting a low interest rate versus a lower um, purchase price. And
Mm.
I wish I can show you the numbers, and it's on my
Yeah.
real estate page. But yeah,
Okay.
I have charts that'll show the difference if you have low interest rate versus a low purchase price. And
Okay.
yeah, you'll get a better deal with lower interest rate in the long run.
That's really really good to mention as well, because I think we've talked in the past few weeks about buying stocks, and I noticed that with myself. Sometimes I hold off for a lower price, and then the prices go up even higher. I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
wish I would have got in when it was lower. So I
Hmm.
think that's something that we have to keep in mind, that sometimes you got to be smart and get in.
Yeah.
If it's a good price, get in, and not always try to like pinch pennies in every area, because you could lose out on a really good deal.
Yeah. And just do your research and ask me.
Yeah,
And I can provide a lot of resources and information for anybody who's, wanting to get into detail with how things are going in the current market.
I love it. I love it. So, how can someone prepare both mentally and financially? How can someone know that they're ready to take that step to start looking for a new home?
So financially, for sure, you want to, of course, save for a down payment. Most people think you need 20% down to purchase a home. That's not true. Um, you can go as low as 3 to 5% down
Okay.
payment. And just throwing numbers. Let's say if you're looking at a house that's listed for like $500,000, 5% of that would be $25,000.
Okay.
So you want to, of course, save for a down payment, 3 to 5%, and keeping in mind closing costs. These are your fees, service charges, property taxes. That also comes along with buying a property. And of course, just having some cushion and some savings for any emergencies. You want to make sure you have that as well.
Okay. What about credit and income wise? I know that there's both credit and income requirements. So how can we be prepared for those things?
So credit, make sure that you maintain good credit. Because your lender will look at your credit history, making sure that you are making your payments on time. They want to be able to know that they can trust you with a loan and that you're going to make your mortgage payments. Employment, they want to see, they're going to look at 2 years of employment. So something that's consistent, something that's stable. Um, Mentally, I think you would need to just be prepared for the process. It is a very exciting journey, and I love being a part of it. And I take care of most of the stress during this time.
Right.
But you have to be prepared to review documents, um, and and because it's such a big financial decision, you want to be confident. Um, and I'm here, of course, to like provide the information for you and making sure that you're making the best decision. But yeah, just like being patient with the process, especially now that it's a little bit more competitive for buyers to be in the market. You're looking at a lot of competition, bidding against other buyers. So being patient and not losing hope, because maybe you'll
Mhm.
face some rejections, and that's
Yeah.
okay. I always tell my clients that the house for you will be for you. So
Right.
we just gotta keep searching for it. But Yeah. And
Right.
sometimes you might need some emotional break. Let's take this weekend off showing properties, and that's okay. And then we'll go right back at it once they're ready to go. We're looking at houses, 5, 7, 8 houses in one day, back to back. So, yeah.
That's so good to mention as well. I mean, I'm gonna share my own personal story. It can be so emotional. Like I started looking for a home. I wanted to buy in Atlanta this earlier this year. I started looking, and gone through the pre-approval and
Mhm.
explained my situation because at the time I was living in Los Angeles but was hoping to relocate, and things like that can be tricky. Because
Mhm.
like you said, you need to have a job in the area where you are looking to buy if you want to get certain types of loans, right? Especially
Mhm.
if you're going to get like a first time homeowners loan. They want to know that you're going to live there, and how can you live there if you don't work there?
Mhm.
So I went through that process of looking and looking, and only to find out that because I was in Los Angeles, I wasn't going to be able to. So it can be an emotional rocky process, but you
Yeah.
have to be willing to dust off, give it a break if you need to, and restructure and do what you have to do to get the home that you want. So be patient, like you said. It's
Yeah.
so vital. With prices, rising, like we talked about, the prices on homes are rising. Incomes right now are kind of iffy. Jobs are not always secure. Um, what would you say to someone who is afraid, intimidated, especially in a market like LA? Let's not lie, like the prices
Yeah.
are really
For
high.
sure.
Uh,
It's
how
hard
can
out here.
it's hard, okay? What would you say to someone who is, just scared of such a commitment with such a high price tag?
Yeah. Well, if you think already buying this 500,000 plus property, it's such a big task, a big decision.
Mhm.
But for those getting ready, just start small, start saving.
Mhm.
Okay, let's start saving for down payment. And that could come from little sacrifices, everyday sacrifices. Maybe you can cut back on expenses. Do you have to DoorDash every meal? During COVID, a lot of people are able to save money actually because
Yeah.
we're going out more, or we're not going out to eat, or like
Mhm.
spending money here. We really don't have reason to shop for new clothes because why? Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
But yeah, like even expenses such as Uber, if you're going out every weekend and you're Ubering, that adds up. So with the stay-at-home orders, people are able to save more money. And I think that's a great way to start. And so they've taken this year to save, and then, okay, 2021, I'm ready to shop for homes because, you know,
Yeah. Take
and
advantage of this time,
yeah.
like I honestly feel like God is very intentional in everything he does, and
Mhm.
that he's put us in a position to be smarter.
Right.
He's put us in a position to be still. A lot of us are working from home, so you have more time to plan and to, strategize, come up with a strategy,
Hmm.
and not only like a strategy on, where you want to buy, what areas have the best price range for you, but also, okay, how am I going to save? What am I not spending money on that I can now be putting aside to build the capital that I'm going to need to put down a down payment? I think these are
Right.
things that we have to take advantage of. This is when people, this is what, makes or breaks people. This is what like sets people apart and changes their whole financial dynamic times like now. So
Yeah.
take full advantage. I hear a common theme with a lot of people who are intimidated by buying is that they like the security of renting because they know anything they need taken care of, they can
Mhm.
just call the leasing office, right? What would you say to those individuals who are afraid or intimidated by the responsibility that comes with owning a home?
I get that. I totally get that. And I would say, with um, responsibility, of course, comes with liability. And yes, you have more, you have to be the one to pay for your repairs or anything that comes up with the home. But with responsibility, you can also reap the benefits of owning a home, and that is from you know, being able to personalize your home, paint it highlighter yellow if you want to. You know, you can have pets. Some properties don't allow pets. So just like the freedom of choice, the creative control, make it how you want it to be. Also, what is it? Oh, so just the sense of security. You don't have mortgages have, you know, most of them will have fixed monthly payments, so you don't have to worry about your rent going up all of a
That's true.
sudden. Um, yeah, and just tax deductions, your mortgage interest rates and property tax, those are tax deductible. And if you're um, using your home as an office, which most of us are, you can also that's also tax deductible. So there are advantages, and it's really up to you, you know, if you're willing and ready to take on those responsibilities. But I think, to me, I think the benefits outweighs the liabilities.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Would you, because we mentioned mortgage rates, for those that want to shop around, which I think is very, a good idea, um, what ways can we shop around for mortgage rates without getting those hard hits on our credit?
You can do them. Most buyers, you know, shop for rates to make sure to pick what's best for their financial situation. And so as long as you do it within a certain time period, anywhere between 14 to 45 days, if you do like multiple, um, it'll just count as one. But
Okay.
different lenders will follow different models. So just to be on the safe side, do it within 2 weeks, 14 days. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
a good note.
you're not getting multiple hits. Mhm.
Okay, so even though you're going through different banks or credit unions, what have you, if you do it within a certain time span, it just looks like one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good
Mhm.
to know. um, Shifting gears to real estate as a career, I want to ask you a few questions in regards to anyone who might be interested in like getting a side hustle or making that their full-time hustle. What is the flexibility that comes with being a real estate agent?
So I started as a part-time agent, and so that's something that really drew me to it because I needed to still work my 9 to 5 and, you know,
Mhm.
and search for something else to support that. And so that's how I started. So definitely you can create your own schedule. You can choose to do it part-time or full-time, but I'll tell you, it takes a lot of work um, to do to do a 9 to 5 and then do real estate too, because it can be very demanding.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to put in the work, it's very doable. I've done it. Um, so yeah, flexibility with your schedule, um, flexibility to choose who you can work with. So as a real estate agent, you have the opportunity to choose what brokerage you work with. And so in my experience, I interviewed 10 brokerage because I just need to know what's out there.
Right. Mhm.
And you know, you can pick from a local boutique, like a small brokerage, to like now I am with Keller Williams, which is a worldwide international brokerage. So so yeah, you have the flexibility to choose um, which brokerage you work with. And for me, it was very important to work with a company that aligns with my values and
Yeah.
that provides an environment of support and training, education. That's very important because I'm out here like I don't know what to do, but you need
Right.
you need that you need that support system to guide you and to educate you with the proper procedures.
That's
Um,
a good thing to consider because it's like it's not necessarily like a normal job where you get on the job training, I would think, because you're kind of by yourself a lot. So how does that work? Like there's things that, on a normal job that you can go and ask your manager, but here
yeah.
you're kind of like out in the field by yourself. How does that work? How do you
So yeah,
is that what drew you to like a bigger brokerage like Keller Williams?
yes, for sure. So they provide the top training, and you also go through mentorship for
Okay.
within your first couple. transaction. So you're not going there blindly.
Okay.
You have someone who's experienced and will guide you through every step of the way. And also, like, if I don't promise that I know everything, and if there's something that I need to find out, I have someone that I can call and be like, hey, I need help. Can you let me know what I should do to properly help my clients? So if you're with a good broker, then you should be provided with the support that you need.
What do
Yeah.
showings look like right now with the pandemic?
Oh my gosh.
I can imagine they're not the same.
It's not the same. I mean, it's doable. We can still look at properties, but it's a
Mhm.
little extra work.
Mhm.
So before we would have open houses and you would
Right.
just, have everybody come in during this time frame and everybody come in and out. You provide food, you make it like an entertainment kind of thing and talk to everybody and you look around. But now it's through private showings only and it has to be scheduled. You have to sign forms, COVID forms, for every person that enters the property and declaring that you have no symptoms and
Mm.
um, acknowledging that you may be at risk of the virus by coming into the property. So you have to sign that before we even confirm appointments that needs to be submitted to the listing agent. Um, and then of course sanitizing, masks, booties for your feet, your shoes,
Mm.
um, not to touch anything, or wear gloves. So,
Okay.
so yeah, just taking the proper precautions. Of course, we
Yeah.
want to protect the seller's home. The sellers, most of them, they still live there. So,
Mm.
so yeah, so just making sure everybody's safe, of course.
Yeah. Do you do virtual tours as well?
They're out there,
Hmm.
but I found that most people still want to see it in
Of
person.
course. Of
And
course.
prior to seeing it in person, you want to check out the virtual tours that's available online.
So
Yeah.
tell us the steps to becoming a realtor.
So you have to take classes, and you need to be certified for those classes first before taking your license exam. And I did mine online. You can do it at your own pace, or you can do like a physical class. Uh,
Okay.
For me, I did it online. I was working, my 9 to 5. After that, I lived in Starbucks. Like I was in Starbucks
Mm.
for months just studying, doing, the prep test quizzes and getting through the classes. And then once it was time for me to apply for my license, you have to submit. They do like background checks. Like you have to do your fingerprints,
Mhm.
and then schedule for your license exam. Before um, taking your exam, I would suggest doing a crash course to just review everything as a prep and taking the sample exams and making sure that you're familiar, you know what
Okay.
you're doing, and so that you're confident when it's time for you to take the license exam.
Okay. So
So
once
yeah.
you pass the exam and you start to work in real estate, is do you have to stick with a particular market? Like, can you only be over a certain region, or can you practice in different areas? How does that work?
So when you get a state license, so I'm licensed in California, and technically I can work anywhere in California, but as an agent, you can choose where you want to work. So for me, my Keller Williams office is in Burbank, but I serve all of LA County because that I'm willing to make that drive, to different
Right.
neighborhoods. Some people just want to stick to one city, just Pasadena. I'm not going to go anywhere else other than that. So it's really you have the flexibility to choose where you want to work, how far you want to go. Um, so yeah.
And how are you, like, does Keller Williams give you a certain amount of listings, or how do you acquire listings as a real estate agent?
So that's the biggest struggle. That's the biggest
Okay.
challenge with being in real estate because you have to building your own business, your clientele. So it takes,
Yeah.
putting yourself out there and gaining the trust of other people and looking for those who need your help selling or buying a home. There are options where you can join teams and you can work for, like, let's say, a very busy agent who needs help, and so you can be a part of a team where you're helping the top producers' clients, or you can also pay for leads. There are programs that you pay for, a monthly subscription or whatever, and they'll give you leads, online leads. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there are different ways to do it. I've chosen to do it organically and, trust that whoever's for me will be for me. And I also have the flexibility to choose the clients that I want to work with. If we have to be a proper fit, I want to be able, mutual trust. I want to be able to trust that you trust me and that we work well together.
Because that's a big relationship. It's an important relationship between a buyer and their realtor. Like when you watch HGTV, you can see how frustrating it can be, not only for the buyer, but for the real estate agent if they're not on the same page, if you're not able to communicate well with your real estate agent, what you're looking for, if you're not open to all the possibilities, that can make your job very, very difficult. So I think that that's so important that you kind of screen each other to make sure you are a good fit. That's I'm sure very important.
Yeah, and I'm very happy and lucky to have been working with really amazing people, and they really become like my lifelong friends because we spend so much time working every day. We see each other every weekend, and I get to be a part of this journey, a milestone. And even though it can be stressful, it's a big part of your life, and I'm happy to be that person to help you through that. So it is a special bond, and I love my clients.
I love that. And I love to hear those testimonies. I think it's so important too, if anyone on here is considering real estate as a career. This is one of those jobs that I feel like you have to know that you have the personality for, because you have to be able to communicate and you have to be able to empathize. I feel like there's certain positions, there's certain jobs that is such an important skill. And if you don't have it, it can really just kind of create friction and just make that process so much harder. I just think about, this is completely off script, but I think about when I have dealt with family members in the hospital even, and there's some doctors that just know how to communicate and tell you what's going on with your loved ones, and then there's others that just are just terrible communicators and make you feel like crap, and I feel like those type of positions, it's so important to have someone that knows how to communicate so that you can be on the same page. Otherwise, it can just really stress you out. This is a big, big financial responsibility, buying a home. So you want to have someone that you can trust, and you want to have someone that has your best interest at heart. So you kind of have to feel like choosing a therapist. You have to know that this is the right person for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And as the agent, you really have to have a lot of emotional strength. So because you're dealing with your client's emotion, if they're freaking out, you can't freak out with them. You have to be that solid force to hold it all together. So yeah, but that takes experience too.
Yeah, exactly. I can
Lots
imagine.
of patience and a lot of faith.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's good. That's good. Now let's talk money, because this is the wealth series. So in terms of commission, I know that there can be a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. In that instance, that there's two agents, how is the commission split? How does commission work as a whole?
Sure. So the buyers, if you hire me as a buyer's agent, you're not paying me a dime. So, and I get paid at the end of the transaction, and it comes through. So the seller and the seller's agent negotiate a commission percentage, and that gets split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent.
Okay.
Yeah. So depending on what the percentage is, could be 5 to 6%, let's say. And so that would be split between the buyer's agent and the listing agent at the end of the deal.
Got it.
And if you represent both, let's say you have a listing and you're representing the sellers, and you have you found a buyer that chose you to represent them, then you get both deals.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned how important it is to take the crash exam. What would you say to those who are just intimidated by? I know some of us may have been out of school for a while, and the thought of taking a big exam is just frightening. What would you say to those individuals?
It can be. I was scared too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you study and do what you have to do in terms of preparing, I think you'll be fine. For me, I'm lucky that I actually like studying. I like school, and I like I like all of that. Um, and But yeah, don't be intimidated. Just make sure that you study, that you understand. It's definitely not a memorizing thing. I've heard like, oh, you just have to memorize things and you'll be fine. um, I don't think that's true. I think you just need to comprehend the different aspects and be able to apply it to different situations. um, but I think just reading through the material, taking your quiz, doing the sample test, I think that's what made the biggest difference for me, because I did the sample exams over and over until I got them right. So let's say I did a sample exam and I take it, without looking at the book, and then they'll have answer sheets for you. And so you go back to them, and for the ones that you got wrong or that I got wrong, I would look back and see why it was wrong.
Mm.
Then do it again until I get it all right. So
Yeah.
that's how I prepared. Um, but yeah, don't be afraid to study.
Mhm.
Um, you have the time to study now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that you said make sure you're comprehending, okay? Because it's something that, you don't want to get on the job and be like, oh, what was that? Like you want to
Yeah.
know that the ins and outs of what you're doing, because it's like we said, it's such a big financial responsibility for people, and they're in your hands. So you want to make sure you're giving them the best that you can.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't stop at the licensing. You have to have a passion for continued learning too, because it's a changing market.
Yeah.
you know, um, and always have to be willing to learn. Um, there's always new things that you can learn about and apply to your business. You're working with different people too, so um, handling different types of personalities and like knowing that, kind of having that knowledge, people skills is very helpful as well. So it doesn't stop at the licensing. I think you still have to do your training afterwards and making sure that um, you're well equipped when facing your clients.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So anyone out there that's even thinking about becoming a real estate agent, make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you're studying, make sure you're really preparing, and make sure this is the job for you, because it's not easy. Before we hop into our game, I want to ask you just one last time if you can give the good people just some encouragement for anyone who's on the fence about buying right now due to everything that's going on. What would you say to encourage those people?
um, the biggest incentive is the low interest rates. I don't think we haven't seen it this low before, and it's not promised that it's going to last forever. So if you need one major reason, it's because of the interest rates, the low interest rates. So do take advantage of it. Um, and that's if you're ready, financially ready. Of course, if not yet, make sure that you're saving, you're taking the time to save, educating yourselves. And there are resources out there. I also had, I created my Instagram page to educate buyers who are preparing, just so then they're familiar with the words, the process, what the market looks like right now. So then when it is time for them to buy, they're a little bit more equipped, more familiar with the process. Um, so yeah, the interest rates for sure will definitely give you a great advantage if you buy now, and just be prepared um, to get on bidding who are out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
We have a question from Ebony. You sitting pretty. Can we lock in the interest rates now?
you would have to, I mean, interest rates will fluctuate daily, and as soon as we're able to get an offer accepted, that's usually when you're able to lock in the interest rate. But you know, your lender will give you a range, like here's what you are qualified for, um, and then you'll have a better idea of your numbers.
Good, good. This has been so, so good. Good information. We are going to hop into a little game called This or That.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I'm just going to give you two scenarios or two things, probably things that you hear from your clients all the time. And you tell me this or that. And it might be opinion based, but you kind of give us what the best thing to do in the scenario is. Okay. So the first one, shopping off of or making a final decision off of instinct or off of shopping around. So when it comes to looking for a home, you might go into a house and have a feeling your instinct says this is the one, or should we shop around? Say you go into the first home and you say that, or should we shop around and do our due diligence and list pros and cons? What would you say?
Ooh, that's a hard one because sometimes you will walk into a property, it may be the first one you see, and it's like, okay, this is it. We love it. Um, I think it could go either way. I mean, it's really up to you, like how strongly you love and feel about the home. If you're okay with letting it go and, you know, knowing that that property might not be available next week or tomorrow,
Right.
you know, are you willing to let it go while you shop for other homes? But I have, you know, shown properties first weekend and first day, and they already placed an offer
Mm,
the next day on one of the properties that they saw because they love it that much.
wow.
So yeah, you can go by instinct, but of course, you know, you want to be able to check out the house. You don't want to just look at
Right.
Zillow and it's like, oh, I love this
This
one.
is it.
Yeah. So for sure, I would advise looking at it in person because it gives you a different experience.
Have you ever had anyone do that and regret it later? Like, I should have
No,
shopped around more.
no, because you have time in the process
Right.
to check out everything about the property. If there's any, you know, any repairs that need to be done, you do your inspection. So before going into it and closing the deal, you'll have all the information that you need to know about the property. But yeah, so far everyone's been happy with their
That's
purchase.
good. Okay, next one.
Mhm.
Okay, so say there's a lot of people interested in the home. I walked in, this is it. I love this home. I have to live here. Overbidding or underbidding?
Overbidding. Yeah. And by
Okay.
the way the market is going right now, underbidding, you won't even have a chance.
Mm,
Because everyone's looking at it, and because of the low supply right now, you have a lot of buyers, and let's say there's this one house that everybody wants. You're competing with all these different buyers, and if you're and sellers will they might just accept one, and making sure that
mm,
you want to make sure that you've submitted your best offer.
got it.
Otherwise, you're going to lose your chance, or the seller
So,
might choose to counter the top three offers. So if you're underbidding, then there you go. There's your chance.
mm,
Yeah, you didn't even make the cut.
wow. So
Yeah,
now's not a time to try to necessarily lowball a deal.
no, not right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And say they did, okay, say they rejected your offer and they chose, to go to those top three.
hmm
Um, can you come in higher? Can you say, hey, guess what? Okay, I'll overbid all of those people, or are you now out of the running?
Wait, say that again. If
So
you
say, they
I missed
reject your
part of the.
offer and say, they say, we have three higher offers. I'm going to choose from those three, whoever bids the highest. Can I now say, well, I'll bid even higher? Or how does that
Uh,
work?
yeah,
It depends.
you would talk to the listing agent, and to just reconsider offer. We'll submit a new offer, and then it's going to be up to the seller if they want to
So,
consider it. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Next one. And I don't know if this is necessarily, I know this is more with the lender, but 15-year or 30-year mortgage?
What I've been seeing is a 30-year mortgage. Yeah,
Okay.
gives you a little and little more time
Hmm.
and less down payment. But
Right.
15 years has lower interest rate, so that's the um, but it really all depends on your financial situation, what you're
Right.
capable of um, paying on a monthly
Yeah.
basis. Hmm.
Yeah, that's good to know. So if you have the higher, down payment saves up and you want to get an even lower interest rate, because those interest rates must really look good right now, right?
Yeah.
Considering with everything that's going on right now. So if you have that, then that might be something that you want to consider. If not, in 30 years, definitely.
Hmm.
Usually what most people go with.
Right.
Last one, and this is more of like in terms of what goes along with the two, I guess. Condo versus single family home.
Okay. So again, it depends on your needs. Like I'm not opposed to doing a condo or a townhome. Most will have amenities like pool, spas, gym. What buyers don't like about them is the HOA fees, which is like an
Right.
extra couple $100 um, that you don't have with a single family home. But if you're okay with, like let's say for someone like me, I don't really garden or don't know how, but I'm sure if I have a backyard, I will learn that. But I
Right.
don't mind paying the HOA fee for someone to maintain the outside of my home,
Yeah.
or to pay for, having that extra fee to have a gym or a pool
Yeah.
close by. So with condos, townhomes, that might be something that's more appealing to you if you're that type of person
Hmm.
um, that want those amenities.
And
It
that might be, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It also depends on your budget. If you want to look at a certain neighborhood that's really expensive, but your budget is a little lower, then you might want to consider a condo or a townhome because they're cheaper than a single family home. So it depends. Or if you want a single family home and you want the backyard, um, you don't want to pay for the HOA fees, then that's possible too. We just have to maybe look at neighborhoods that are within your price range. There are different ways we can work around it, depending on what your top priorities are.
Yeah.
So, and also, condos and townhomes, it's a start. You
Yeah.
don't have to live there forever. You can live there for a few years, and if you've outgrown it, you can sell it, use that equity that you've built over time, and use that to buy a bigger home in a better neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's always that option as well. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a forever home.
Good
Yeah.
points. Like with the condo or the townhome, you can, that might be a good compromise for those individuals we talked about earlier who, are not wanting to go, cut the grass or, just like the luxury of renting that they don't have to deal with those things. That can kind of be a compromise for them. And then, like you said, this does not have to be your forever home per se.
Yeah.
Especially if this is your first home, like think about it as an investment. And it can be something that you can sell or something that you could even rent later on, Airbnb, whatever, to actually generate income. And now you're actually,
Yeah.
getting, that side hustle or that extra income,
Exactly.
generating the wealth that we've been talking about this whole series. So,
Yes.
Isabella, this has been so amazing.
Thank
I
you
want
so
to
much.
thank
That
you.
went by
Thank
super
you.
fast.
Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is a position a lot of us are in right now, or thinking about, or have already started the process of buying a home. And a lot of us just have little qualms or little fears that I hope that you were able to put to rest. If you have any questions, for any of the listeners who have any questions in regards to real estate, Isabella has so much wisdom, and she has a Instagram page dedicated to this. So let them know where they can find you and get this good information.
LA Neighborhoods 101. So I put up real estate market updates there, and as well as highlight different LA neighborhoods every month. So just looking at a market real estate market snapshot of the neighborhood, see what the average price looks like. And I think, like mortgage updates, real estate market updates, tips, real estate words that you need to know and get familiar with. So I do really try my best to provide content that is helpful and valuable, even if you're not ready now, maybe in the future, at least, get yourself familiarized with it.
Yeah.
And as always, like if you have any questions, like I'm here, I'm a DM away, text. I'm pretty responsive with
Yeah.
with people asking me questions, especially regarding real estate. So I'm here to guide you and to help you.
Yes, and I've watched your videos. They're short and sweet and informative, and I think it's, something that we all could benefit from. So definitely follow her. You're also, I know this is completely separate, but you're also doing a lot for the LA community that I appreciate, just giving back to the homeless. You have a nonprofit where you are supporting women with their, personal hygiene needs. So definitely follow Isabela and all that she does. She does so much for the community, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. I love to see it. So support her, follow her, and if you're looking for a home in Los Angeles, she is the one to go to. So hit her up. Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining
Thanks for
me.
having me.
I had so much fun. Thank you guys for watching. This is the last episode of this series.
Wow.
However, it won't be the last, like, forever. We will definitely
Got an
come back
entire
to
year
fight.
ahead.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll definitely come back next year
Oh my
with
God.
2021. God, I just pray that everything we've been hoping for in 2021 comes to fruition. Everyone have a very Merry Christmas. We won't be on next week. We will come back next year. I will be posting dates, posting new topics, new series, new guests. But enjoy this time with your loved ones, and if you don't get to, just enjoy this time with yourself, love on yourself, do some self-care, and have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2021. Love you guys. Thank you again, Isabela.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you soon. Love you guys.
Bye.